Very different to what might be 4 or 5 strides at fence 5 in 2 minutes in.
Got Maxime here.
So Maxime with Carouzo, Bois, Marotin. And he's on 35.5, 20th after dressage, but again, time is making such a big influence here.
I mean, so brilliantly done. I was speaking to Ian Stark down in the vet box a little while ago, and he actually thought that question was one of the toughest on the track. And to be stopped and have to start at a max triple bar on a 5-star, true class right there.
We've been walking the course and we're talking about the safety implements being used, and the red and yellow, as we now have as well on corners, min clips have been such a big part of our sport the last few years. But here this year, the back rails of most of the Oxes and the back rail of that triple bar are on reverse frangible pins, and frangible pins coming back in, having been approved into the safety handbook for the sport. So that's interesting that they've decided that min clips for front rails, reverse pins for back rails, and that's all just to try and increase the safety of the sport. Emily Hamill and Corvette come home. Again, it looks like green across the board in terms of a jumping clear for Emily, but we'll have to stand by for her time. Maxime Livio jumps the straight route with a Rolex Grand Slam challenge and heads up to Mick Costello's picnic table and the 5-minute marker on course if everything had gone serenely for him without being held on course. But it also means, as things, we've got 2 of our held horses safely home, 1 running well. So in due course they will give a green light to the start, and that next starter is going to be Yasmin Ingham and Banzai de Loire, the overnight leader.
This horse just has incredible range in his gallop, and Maxime does a beautiful job, and he looked pretty excited in the dressage yesterday, and you can see he's just incredibly fit and ready to run.
As you said, as well as being a championship medalist and previous podium finisher here at Kentucky, Maxime has also been coach for the last several years to the eventing team for Thailand, helped them get their qualification for the Tokyo Olympic Games, the first time Thailand had ever been represented by a team at those games. Oof.
Whoa. I was just about to jinx it and say that's been jumping so well, but it's you don't see it from this camera angle, but you can't see the seat element at all until you're about 2 strides away, and you can tell the horse just didn't quite pick up on it.
Yeah, unless you ride a really bowing right-hand turn. When you're at B, all you can see is the root ball of that tree up in front of you on the hill. So you definitely, you have to be going out, you have to be getting a left-hand turn somewhere, and at the last minute is too late, because you will go even more extremely at the red flag than Maxime just did. The other thing, so having been held quite early, you feel that Maxime's got a little bit of a fresher horse on his hands. And maybe he always is quite a fresh horse as well. He's not one, I think we're used to seeing an awful lot.
Right, and that can be, you just never know. It's the toss of the coin whether it's going to serve you or not. Normally around that 4 minute, you finally settle into a groove, and it looks like this one's come out quite fresh still. Nice 5 strides across there. Again, when you walk that track, there's a very, very direct 4, but we really haven't seen that. We've seen the horses easily nipping around in the 5 as he heads down towards the head of the lake.
I think it's a 4 for the likes of you and I who don't have to ride it and take on those huge wide boxes.
I don't understand what the big deal is.
Yazing and Banzai de Loire out on course. Jeanette Chin and the Sue Davies Trust horse. Podium here last year, world champions in Pretoni. Former national 8 and 9-year-old champion in Great Britain. Blenheim 4 long winners then in 2021, and podium already this spring at Thorsby, getting one of those few international 4-star runs available this spring with the awful weather we've been having in Britain.
So she's well prepped for a little bit of rain here across the track in Kentucky.
This, if you were an eventer in Great Britain, this is sunbathing weather this spring.
Be seeing a lot of skin.
So it's quite, the way he sets up the first part of this course, in his first minute he's probably only got 3 jumping efforts. He really just wants the horses to get up into a lovely rhythm.
Yeah, but this water just is massive, and the table coming into this first water, you really want to be accurate, you really want to be bold. So he's doing a good job of getting the horse out in front of you, and then the questions come in hard and fast in the beginning of the track. So it is kind for about 35 seconds.
Yasmin, Banzai de Loire. She goes out on the slightly wider line. We've seen some people be able to be really direct into that first element, but you know, it's fractions of seconds at this point.
Really smooth through that. And again, the numbers there, you're seeing them all over the place, whether it's 7, 8, 6 across the water, 4 or 5, but what's important is the line. I feel like once you get that first water done, then you can check that off and really, really get to work. And this is such a beautiful pair to watch. The connection and the communication is so smooth, so flawless. Both horse and rider, nearly perfect balance all the time across all 3 phases. So it's really you know, an education to watch this pair across the field.
So 7 seconds over the time here last year, 3 seconds over the time on the cross country in Pretonia. Those were days on both occasions when people did get the time. But what does Yaz sort of propose here this year? She is on 22.1. 24.2 is just behind it. Oh my word.
Oh my goodness.
Yasmin and Banzai de Loire glance off.
Who, I mean,
like the very first horse of the day. That C element has been problem all day long. So Banzai has to do exactly what the others who've had the problem at the C element do. She comes, she jumps the ditch on this side, so she has a nice line to the alternate C, the alternate D. But 20 penalties completely changes it. The USA will go into the final day in the lead. Tammy Smith and Maibang will be leaders going into show jumping here. That is undisputed. That cannot be changed.
Unbelievable. Whereas I'm very excited for Team USA. I just can't believe we just saw that happen. You know, they are not machines. things do go wrong. Little miscommunications do happen, but it's quite shocking with the experience of this horse and rider combination. But
times 11 minutes 25 for Will Coleman, so he's inside the time. 31.2. 11 minutes 16 for Emily. You might go, oh my goodness, how did she go so fast if they got it wrong? The natural tendency, if you've been held and maybe you haven't got your watch quite right, is to just go, riding within the capabilities of your horse. So that I'm not actually surprised to see that Emily has just been that little bit deep inside the time, but she therefore is also clear and inside the time and will stay on 38.7. Maxime Livio, of course, still on course, but it seems like we would get his time when he crosses the finish line quite quickly. Here is Maxime Livio. He's been flying all the way, but you know, he just hasn't always had the rideability, and whether that's scrubbed a little bit of time for him inside some of the big combinations. But a lovely jump through the lucky horseshoe to finish his round for Maxime Livio and Carouzo, Bois, Marotin.
There's the crowd cheering him through the finish there.